So in this video, I wanted to share everything I did all the way in high school, so grades 9, 10, 11, 12, everything I did in my undergrad studies that eventually got me into the Ivy League Cornell University, and now I am a biomedical engineer that has been working in New York for the last 5 years. Also, we officially started the research bootcamp today, and you guys won't believe it, but we've had students from all over the world join in. Here's a small clip of how that went today. There we go, there it is. Okay, thank you. Good to see so many beautiful faces. I am so excited, and honestly, it's so nice to actually see all of you guys for once. I don't get to interact with you as much, but this is fantastic. But basically, these guys are going to be working on individualized group projects for the next 8 weeks. And if any of you guys are interested in signing up for the waitlist for cohort 2, I'm going to leave a link to that in the description below. So we are now ready to go to the gym. What perfume are you using?
I am using the Dossier perfume today.
And what's your favorite fragrance right now?
This one is the Woody Chestnut, and it's my favorite fragrance right now.
Cool. So if you guys want to grab any of these are super affordable luxury fragrances for students. If you guys want to check these out, they come in like super travel friendly sizes. I'm going to leave a link down below in the description. Let's start with high school, which is class 9 and 10. Now, I studied in the ICSE board, for anyone who wants to know, and I scored 89% in my class 10 board exams. I feel like I was just a slightly above student, nothing too fancy, but something that I'm really proud of is I was just out of interest very involved in leadership roles in school. So I was like the blue house prefect and the captain for a certain time, and towards class 10 I also became my school vice captain, and then I grew into the captainship position. I was also the first female captain of the school. Before me there were just boys, so that's something that I really like to do. I was never into debates or anything, just because I didn't really care. I didn't really like it. I didn't want to do any of that. And honestly, at that point, I wasn't doing any of these activities just for the sake of my college applications. I just truly wanted to see what and where my interest lies, and basically just try to understand what I enjoy doing. Now that comes to that slowly transitions to class 11 and 12th. 11th, I think I got around 80%. And 12th, I also got around 80% in my board exam. So again, worse than class 10, but still just an average score, nothing fancy. I did my 12th in the ISE board exam, and I had physics, chemistry, math, and biology, PCMB, for those of you guys that are also studying in India. Up until class 12, I would maybe participate in some science competitions, try to understand what I really like. I was really into sports, and that's pretty much about it. I didn't go out of my way to just do something for the sake of college application. As you can see, a lot of my activities was just based around my personal interest and what I really like to do. Right, so after class 12, I was pretty much interested in biology, math, a little bit of engineering, and biomedical engineering is something that provided me with the best options, and I just got into that. During my first 2 years of undergrad, my primary focus was just learning how college life works, trying to do well in my studies, and I was involved in a few competitions here and there. So innovator challenges, I got this cool opportunity to go to BITS, and that's actually where I was involved in this interdisciplinary research boot camp for 4 weeks or so, and I got to meet a lot of cool people. Some of them were even doing masters in the US, Canada, whatnot, and that's where my spark of interest to potentially even do a master's study abroad started. So the end of year 2 and possibly year 3 is basically when things got a little interesting. I wanted to build and get involved with something where I was actually building and using my biomedical engineering skills, and I built this one prototype of a device where I needed some help with some of my friends that were in the mechanical engineering department, even computer science department, because obviously I couldn't do everything on my own. And that prototype won some poster competitions in my own college. So I decided, well, why not take the same prototype and present it in other colleges? And I ended up presenting and winning 3 or 4 different competitions for that prototype. And that was basically a device that I had built based off of research that was done at the time, just to do minor improvements, and built a hand tremor suppression device that was low cost, which was like the main selling point and how I made my device different from the technology that was already out there. It was a bare bones prototype, like it literally just worked, and I don't think I could like do reproducibility studies because that's not what it was for. It was just a prototype, but I got to learn so much by just building and doing that experience. And that led me to one of my most interesting things in my profile that I could point out, which was my research at Harvard Medical School. Now, my research was focused on point of care lab-on-chip technology, where I used a microfluidic-based platform to detect corneal ulcer from tear samples of mice. And I know that sounds like a handful, but I got to experience some really cutting edge research during that time. And the whole point of doing and getting this experience at Harvard was just so valuable to me, not only in learning how to do actual research, but learning interpersonal skills like working in a team, how group projects work, everything that goes on like around research, apart from just working in the lab, making sure that my presentation skills were on point, and so on and so forth. All right, so that brings us to my journey of how it all started at Cornell. And before we go into the college part, the story that I told you guys is what I shared with Cornell in my application that I wrote to them. Now, as you guys can see, I didn't have like activities that were all over the place, but I feel like I had some 4 or 5 key activities that I really worked towards. Sports was one of them, some projects and interests that showed that I was just trying to develop and find myself as a person, as well as what I was interested in. And lastly, my grades from 10th, 12th, and then undergrad, they gradually increased. 89%, 80%, and my overall GPA in undergrad for all 4 years was somewhere between 9.1, 9.2. So I feel like all of those things combined together with my curiosity and interest in what I wanted to do with my Cornell degree is something that helped me get in. And after that, after I graduated, I started working in the healthcare industry, and I've been doing that for a few years now. So that was kind of like my entire journey. And I know it can be a little overwhelming. So if you guys at all are interested in kind of knowing how this entire process of applying to colleges works, if you're someone who's applying for the fall 2024 intake, or if you're someone who just wants some guidance on the whole application process, whether you're an undergrad or a master's PhD student, then sign up for the Ivy League 101 course. Last year, the course helped over 100 students get into some really cool colleges. You can see the acceptance letters on the website as well. I'm going to leave a link to the waitlist in the description below, so you guys can check that out. And that's pretty much all that I had for this video. Let me know what you thought of the entire journey. This is something that, you know, I've very candidly shared for the very first time. So I'd love to know your thoughts. And I know that you guys are waiting for the transfer application video. I am working on that, so that is going to be released very, very soon. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.